see everyone come and join right now. Beth, Bob, Chris, Clint, Corey, Cynthia. I see a few of our clients here on there. How's it going? We got Paul, Summer, Steven. Yeah, it's a pretty good turnout so far. So thanks again, James, for joining me on this kind of soft launch of our new product / company, SaleStream. James, you're the man. You've been kind of like helping to coach me about a lot of things with LinkedIn, and you have a lot of amazing value to offer as well. So I am excited to have you on here, and we can dork out and talk about automation, systems, LinkedIn, and hopefully help a few people out. So welcome.
Well, pleasure to be invited, Casey. I think what you've done is amazing. MyLinkedSolution and SaleStream are two great solutions that are really going to help your clients with the problems that they have growing their business. And that's what I've been doing with my private clients, and certainly the last 4 or 5 years, is helping them generate leads, but also learn how to make the most of the leads that they do generate. Because most people, when they generate leads, they just kind of waste them. If they don't convert immediately, they just go into this pile of unconverted leads, and they never get looked at again. It's one of the biggest wastes, one of the biggest tragedies in marketing. There is so much opportunity in those pile of unconverted leads that it's criminal really not to take advantage of it. So,
I mean, thanks. And yeah, you're preaching to the choir, and I mean, I get it. I mean, I'm a real estate professional as well as a digital marketer, and I understand all the pains of what realtors go through when trying to generate business and grow a business. And I mean, I was just imagining, what's happened to us in the past, where I have the intention of getting down and dirty with these systems to create these follow-up procedures to follow up with all these leads and call all these leads that have come through. And then all of a sudden, I'll get a call from an agent because the key in the lockbox is gone, and they're sitting out in front of one of our listings trying to get in. So you have to drop what you're doing and then spend 2 hours to either track down that key or go help that agent in, whatever it is. So the ability for a realtor to just actually block off time, set up their systems, and follow up with the leads is increasingly difficult in today's day. So yeah, I mean, it's now I'm mostly focused primarily on marketing and setting up these systems on behalf of our clients so that they can do what they do best.
100%. So it's really important to understand, you made an important point, that in the modern world, there are so many more channels of communication than existed, certainly when I was a lot younger. So let's say starting on my career in the corporate world in sales. Email was kind of new around back then, right? That was the kind of thing. It was cold calling and a little bit of emailing. And it's like, ooh, yep. Think of all the options we got since social media has just been created. It didn't exist, right? When I first got started, in my sales career. So what that means is that there are a lot of low value activities that we need to do to progress opportunities, but we cannot be doing them ourselves all individually as human beings, because we only have a finite amount of time and attention and resource and energy to be able to do things. So what that means is that we need automation, and we need tools and software and systems to be able to execute these low value activities. And what's a low value activity? For example, a follow-up message. Hey, are you still interested in X? Just touching base to see, that's a relatively low value activity. If you were to do that manually for every single prospect all the time, that would be too much. You wouldn't be able to get through very many at all, because it will take time. But automation means you can do this while you're getting on with your day, as you said, putting out fires elsewhere, just with the peace of mind that this low value activity is being taken care of for you by what's effectively these are digital assistants. And I'd encourage everyone to consider using software tools as assistants, because they are doing the role that a human assistant would do, but for a fraction of the price. And in many cases, a lot better too, because software is very good at being very consistent, whereas humans are less good at being consistent, right?
Consistency is key. I'm telling you. I mean, you kind of reminded me of one of the main kind of challenges that we deal with MyLinkedSolution is our clients not really having the time to be consistent. They come to me and say, hey, I'm getting all of these messages on LinkedIn, but I don't really know what to do with them. and I don't have the time to respond and to nurture these relationships with each and every one of them. And so, I mean, that has been one of my, you know, like a thorn in my heel for a long time, trying to figure out what kind of solution we could create for them. And it's been difficult. It's been difficult because in order to create systems, it takes a lot of organization, and you have to be able to put a lot of moving pieces together and kind of glue them all together in a way that comes across as authentic, you know, and also comes across as consistent. So, I mean, if you have a few automations in place and then all of a sudden you just like, they just stop, and this client is just, or this prospect is waiting to hear back from you, like, you need to make sure that you have the correct follow-up and follow through built in as well. And one of the points that I like to make too is that it has to be authentic. You know, even though it may be automated and the person on receiving that automation, it can tell it's automated, if it comes through as genuine, customized, and authentic, their ability or their, you know, desire to kind of like push it away goes down, and they are way more receptive to responding positively to you. So, I mean, you're really good at customizing responses. I would like to hear a little bit more about how you customize things.
Gosh, yes. Well, you know what? The first thing I'd say is that people always rush to do the kind of the complex and the fancy, but actually it's the simple stuff that works the best. So I'll give you an example. So let's just say if you're a realtor, if you had been generating leads, one of the ways you might have generated some leads is by offering a list of the latest properties that are for sale within a certain area, within a certain price point. So you might generate a list of people who are interested in what are the current properties on the market, you know, within your budget, within your location that you're looking for. Great. So one of the simplest things you can do is just follow up with those people after following through on your promise, sending them the report with the latest listings, and whether that's automated or manual, it doesn't matter. But just automating a follow-up message, or multiple follow-up messages, but at least one saying, "Hey, Bob, are you still looking? Are you still looking for property right now?" Yeah. And you don't need to have chapter and verse. It's like, "Are you still looking for a property currently?" Question mark. Yeah. There's real power in a single sentence question in a message. Yeah. Why? Because it takes people a fraction of a second to read and comprehend, and it's very easy for them, therefore, to respond back, because you're not asking them 10 things to do 10 things. They don't have to read through a newsletter with 25 items, and there's nothing wrong with those, but it's a different thing. One single sentence question is almost demanding a response back. And so there's no real personalization, but what there is relevance. You're only sending that question to people to whom you have sent before a listing of latest available properties in their area. You can't send that cold to someone who's never heard from you before. By the way, are you looking to buy? It's like relevant. That's not relevant. You have just going out to people cold. It's not that relevant, but following up with your leads, it's highly relevant. So you don't need to be super personalized for it to be effective. Does that make sense?
It does. And I love your like customization, your customized versus relevance is a really interesting way of thinking about it. Because I think there's really two channels here. One is following up with leads and, creating relevant content for those leads. But I personally like to use customization and somewhat of relevance for generating leads in the first place. That's kind of been one of my passions. That's been a thing that helped me develop MyLinkedSolution, helped us grow it to where it is today, is being able to create this like authentic automation that helps bridge the gap between someone who you don't really know and someone who you kind of have something similar and related to. So, I mean, we've done a lot of this with our company for LinkedIn, and I'm really excited to kind of bring it over to SaleStream as well, because there's a lot of power behind bridging that gap between someone you don't really know and then converting them to a lead through customized and relevant content. So here's one that I really like, and I learned about it a few years ago from a YLOPO conference and the great Barry Jenkins, because I am always trying to figure out how can I easily and effectively basically bring people from LinkedIn over to either email or text message as another version, another mode of communication. And there's a couple of tricks. One is you can't send emails and then later ask why they didn't open them, but rather you have to ask yourself before you send the email, why should they open them, right? And so if you have that perspective, you kind of lead more with value, and you kind of lead more with abundance, and then the likelihood of them opening that email, it goes way higher. Now, there's also kind of like trickier ways where one campaign I've done recently is I've sent out an email, like just a single email to all my contacts on LinkedIn. And the email was very simple and very easy, but it says, hey, first name, not sure if this was you or not, but someone with your name, John, recently was on my website and requested a market snapshot. You know, I figured you're also from the same city and your same name. Was this you? Question mark. You know, if not, no worries, sorry. But if so, here is the market snapshot that you requested. Looks like the market's going down a little bit or shifting a bit. So reach out to me if you have any questions. And so even though I have no idea if that person was actually on my website, and in fact, he probably wasn't, the way that you were able to bridge him from LinkedIn to email in a way that seemed somewhat relevant was a very creative way. And I got almost zero pushback. And the responses I was getting was like, wow, that's so interesting. I don't know how you guys have all that data. Like my husband was on Zillow, so that must be what you heard recently. We are looking to buy a house. Like they just all of a sudden opt into their interest, and you just get leads just coming in through the door out of nowhere. It's crazy.
It's a really nice frame, again, because it's close enough to being realistic and reasonable that people believe it could be the case, and there's enough confusion in a positive way that they're not sure, but they know that they might have been browsing and maybe they browse your site, right? So it's a really smart way to as you say to personalize that introduction.
Yeah.
So that's definitely a good one. Yeah, 100% love it.
And it's value. I mean, like, so it's not like you're really coming from like a straight salesman point of view. You're coming from, hey, I really wanted to make sure this person who requested information received it, and here's the information that's very valuable, that could be valuable to you because you live in the same market. You know, even if you're not even looking to buy a house, you always want to stay on top of the market.
The relevance is key again, though, right? So it's not just the personalization, the relevance, because if it was out of state, wouldn't make any sense, right? Out of area. So it's got to be still accurate data, relevant to have a chance to be relevant for those people you're sending to. Good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, and then there's another one that that we're going to be implementing soon, which I really like, is again, it's one of those questions as, you know, don't ask why didn't they open, but ask why should they. And one of my colleagues, he created Blair Ball, and he created a Facebook group called Living North Phoenix. And basically, it's just a resource for everybody who lives in North Phoenix to share about your favorite restaurants, and maybe all your contractors that you use, or just tips and tricks, or things, you know, places to go, whatever it might be. But it's for the residents of that area. Now, he's not selling his real estate services in that group, but it's valuable to everybody who joins just to be in the group to kind of learn about what's going on in the community. And so if you were to kind of provide that as like your initial kind of conversation starter, like, hey, join my Facebook group that's specifically created for people like you, like, no sale here. And he's crushing it. He's doing one sale a month from this one Facebook group. It's insane.
Dude, it's so powerful to build a community. I call them a honeypot, right? It's something which you attract people to, and then without any catches, right? They get value from it. Now they're there. They kind of trust you. They value the value that you've given them, and they're open to suggestions if you want to tell them what you do, and if you have a related product or service. I've done that with business directories. I've helped several of my clients launch LinkedIn groups now, which are, some of them are nearly 2,000 in size, and it's very much the same principle. And they are now generating meetings and appointments with members of these groups every month, like clockwork, and we're talking C-suite level execs, right? It's the corporate space, it's not in the real estate space, but it's high-end corporate services, and it's very difficult to engage these people otherwise. So it works at all levels. At a local community level, it's super easy because everybody loves local. Everybody loves their local area. So if you can be, again, if I was a realtor in a certain area, I want to dominate my area. And one of the best ways to do that is to build a community of people who live in that area and give value for free. And there are local media sites. So even you don't even need a website. There are people that do this just with Instagram pages. Just to remove the complexity of, I've got to build a website and it's complex. Right? Well, just build an Instagram page, theme it around your local area, start sharing. And again, the beauty of Instagram, it's so visual. Right? It's perfect for realtors, right? So pictures of lovely properties, events that are going on, locations, people. And I promise you, it's super easy to grow pages on Instagram that are based around a local area. So that's another angle too.
Yeah, and like branding. So I mean, one of my previous careers was in Gallup Consulting, and there was some major meta analysis that they measured the types of companies that were able to survive recessions, and they measured all kinds of data to kind of determine, and it was like the big brands, obviously, like the Coke, the Pepsi, like the big brands that were recession proof. But the key takeaway that we could apply to smaller businesses is that if you don't work on your branding and if people don't see you everywhere, the chances of you surviving a shift go down significantly. So, I mean, and that kind of leads me to one of the benefits of SaleStream and just like kind of just marketing in general, is that you need to be seen everywhere on the internet, right? You need to have a Facebook group with you as the admin. You need to have an Instagram profile page where you're kind of promoting content that could be valuable. You need to be having like a nurture follow-up sequence to provide market data. You need to wish them a happy holidays or whatever it might be, but you need to be everywhere all the time so people can think of you when they are looking to then eventually buy or sell. It's just a weird market right now where, information is everywhere, and, the loyalty that clients have towards their realtors has gone down significantly as well, unless you are always in front of them. And so even a simple happy holidays, I know it's kind of cheesy, but it really does a good job in kind of keeping them aware of who you are, and setting up all those systems in place is the key. And you have your solution as well, but like you create these customized snapshots, and you can customize them for yourself and your own business, but then the automations do all the work. It's awesome.
Yeah, technology's revolutionized this. Like, so what we can do now with tools like SaleStream, when I first got into digital marketing, it was like 15 years ago. So in dog years, that's a long time ago, right? So technology's changed, but there are tools back around then that were state of the art. There was one called Infusionsoft. Some of you might know that, might have heard of that name, right? It still exists today, and boy, what it could do then, it was the first tool that could really automate and chain together sequences of different things, not just email one after the other, but an email, a text message, or a ringless voicemail, and a task, and you could put these sequences together, and then you could start to intelligently, well, if somebody does this, then do that. Right, so you can be very intelligent. If somebody clicked on a link, you're going to send them some more specific information. If they don't, you'll follow up with them in a different way. And that's a very expensive tool, super expensive. And it was the bedrock of one of my businesses for many years. But now SaleStream, I would say, is a better version of what Infusionsoft was and is, and it's a fraction of the investment compared to what it would cost to get into Infusionsoft, with all the limitations and restrictions they put on you to try and upsell you to higher levels and tiers. But the functionality in SaleStream is better than what you can do with something like Infusionsoft. So the point is, technology has now drastically come down in price. It's made it far more accessible. Plus, what we can do with this technology is just incredibly more sophisticated and powerful than at any time before. And here's the even best thing. The best thing of all is that you don't need to be a rocket scientist to be able to run this. You don't need teams of programmers. You don't need to be some nerd geek engineer, right? These software tools like SaleStream, anybody can use. Right? It's designed for any ordinary people to be able to use and take advantage of. But of course, what you're doing is providing a kind of templated sequences and done for you messages that makes it even easier for people to plug and play into their own business, which is awesome.
Yeah, it's so someone else coined this term, and I'm just gonna take it, but I like to consider it either, I forgot if it's systemized services or systematized services, but it's you know, we're not like a complete 100%. We're gonna close your deals for you. You know, we just don't have the capacity. We're not you, right? But what we do for all of our clients, or what we will be doing for all of our clients with SaleStream, is we created a lot of these templates and funnels and snapshots, and we've tested them on our own real estate practice. So the O'Toole Group Real Estate, and we did 50 million in sales last year. About 10 to 12 million of those sales came directly from our automation services that we employ. And so we kind of know what works really well for realtors. And then we create the templates, which we could then just push and preload into yours or a client's specific account. They customize it with their logos, their brands, you know, their locations. But then the automations and the funnels are all the same. And then, and you know, you said it earlier, but like, you know, with if this, then that, then like the setting up of the triggers, that is like the service that we could also provide. So I mean, Zapier has been one of my best friends for the past couple of years, and like unless you know how to leverage Zapier at a very high level, implementing all the different automations may be a little bit complicated. But we've done it, and so we can connect these webhooks basically from LinkedIn, and we could say, you know, if new reply comes into LinkedIn, bring into SaleStream, tag as this, this, and this, and then make that tag, if they have Ventura and new lead and LinkedIn, trigger an automation flow that then let me show you. I'll actually have that trigger an automation flow to then send out monthly email updates to that specific person with that market snapshot for that specific city. So, I mean, what we would do for all of our clients is we would just send them all these templates, and then they can edit and customize it for their own specific cities that they work. But then the flow is all the same. You know, hey, Jonathan, these weekly reports keep my clients informed about local market conditions when they're buying or selling their home. We use real-time data so you can make decisions. Click the image below to be redirected. They click the image below, and then it brings them to, in my case, it got to Lompoc, but it'll be whatever city you're in. So it's just powerful. It's like systematized services, I think, is where it's at. Like we do all the heavy lifting up front, and then that way our clients can just spend the time converting the leads.
100%. So we've had a question from Ryan, and I think it's an important one. So Ryan says, does SaleStream replace MyLinkedSolution?
So good question, Ryan. And I know you asked me that in Facebook, and I wanted you to join the webinar to get the answer. It does not replace MyLinkedSolution. It works in conjunction with it. It kind of came out of the desire for me to help our clients follow up with their LinkedIn connections that, you know, for whatever reason, it was difficult for them to do themselves. You know, me and my brother, you know, we were using Follow Up Boss and, you know, MailChimp, and we were using our own systems to follow up with our LinkedIn connections. And it worked really well. But then when I was surveying all of our clients, they're like, oh yeah, I mean, I'm asking them, what do you do with all your LinkedIn data? They're saying, well, I don't, you know, not really much. Some of them say, I didn't even know that I can even get my LinkedIn data. So that's kind of my fault for not letting them know. But at the same time, you know, if you were to leverage that data in a very effective and customized way, it could change your business dramatically. And so it doesn't replace MyLinkedSolution. I still consider MyLinkedSolution to be a top of funnel lead gen system. But what it does is it basically can help you leverage, or help our clients, or help anybody leverage the LinkedIn data that is currently in their network, and that we'll be bringing in for them from our services into these different funnels that we've preloaded for you.
Yeah, 100%. So I totally agree. And that's exactly mirrored my experience with my own private clients. So I started off helping them generate leads through LinkedIn, putting them into spreadsheets initially. And spreadsheets are a disaster, a nightmare to try and track anything beyond just 10 or 20 leads. That's it. It's impossible. So I found a solution, a similar CRM solution that I could put those leads into and allow my clients the ability to be able to follow up those leads and add in automation, exactly what you've done in a SaleStream, but obviously you produce SaleStream specifically for realtors, and that's what's amazing. So everybody on this call needs leads, but you also need follow-up tools, follow-up systems in place to be able to maximize the just make the most possible revenue from those leads that you've generated. I mean, there are estimates of something like 30 to 50% of most sales in the agency world come from follow-up, not from the initial engagement. They don't convert in the first 15 days, 30 days. It's in the follow-up, in the months after, but most businesses will give up. They will give up way before then. And so they're just not making anywhere near as much as they should do. Now, in times of fat and plenty and kind of growing, roaring economies, you can maybe get away with that little bit of inefficiency and wastage, right? But when times get a little bit tougher, you can't afford inefficiencies in any area of business. You just can't. So now is the time to tighten belts and actually tighten up those systems, so so your bucket is not got leaks everywhere while you're carrying water from one place to the other. That's effectively what most people do, right? The lead comes in, falls out of a leaking hole at the bottom of the bucket, and never to be seen again because they don't follow up with it. And that's why you've created SaleStream, correct?
Yeah, and I mean it's also, I mean, it's important to note too is, so the follow-up systems are great, the automations are great, and I'm saying this with a little hesitation because I don't want to overwhelm people with the amount of value that actually is provided here. But when you said tighten your belt, it's like you should also consider the fact that you may have a lot of excess fat that you can get rid of, because there's a bunch of software out there in general that you don't need when you have like an all-in-one solution. And so, I mean, for one, I was using MailChimp, I was using Calendly, ClickFunnels. I was using all kinds of different software, right? Like thousands of dollars a month worth of services. And then I created this company. I'm like, hey, I need to find some way of doing everything in one and making it super simple. So I don't have to have 10 different tabs open. I can have like one system open and it does all the same tricks. So yeah, I mean, I'll just kind of show here what SaleStream can do for you. So Hootsuite is that social media planner where you can sync your different social media accounts and then calendar out postings from and to all of those social media accounts. So we have our O'Toole Group Real Estate for Google My Business. We have it for Facebook group. We have it for our LinkedIn page, personal and business. And so when we create a post, we simply check all the boxes of which groups we want to push that out to, which social media channels, and we hit go. Calendars, I mean, has basically a Calendly system built into it. And so that's super simple. It has like a reputation management. I mean, you can be following your reputation score across Google My Business and anywhere else. There's so much to do here, and I don't want to overwhelm people, but it's just, why pay for all those systems when you can have them all in one?
Right. And here's the thing. Yeah, sometimes these all-in-one solutions, sometimes the the actual components aren't that good, right? And so they're trying to sell you on the, oh, it's all in one, everything's under the hood in one place, but actually the individual components are not best of class. But I mean, what the functionality in SaleStream is best of class. I mean, it really is. So all those different elements that you talked about, and plus the ones you didn't show, the websites, the funnels, they are all top quality apps that you would be paying someone like ClickFunnels, you'd be paying $100 to $300 a month just to have the ability to have websites. And you've got that inside of SaleStream, and without the restrictions. Again, most of these companies, they put a lot of restrictions on to bump you up into higher tiers, so it gets more and more expensive. They know all the tricks. That's how they make money, right? But what's great about what you're doing is like SaleStream is not there to. It's not your only profit source, right? It's like you make profit in multiple ways, and actually. I think your philosophy is similar to mine, is that I don't charge much to my clients for my agency CRM, but I use it to help solve problems for my clients. And I do that very cost effectively. And because I do it that way, clients appreciate it, they're getting great value, and they stay with me for a very long time. So yeah. We're both coming from a place of undercharging, over delivering, I think, in terms of value for the software that we're providing, right? You for your clients and me for mine.
Absolutely. I mean, it's the abundance versus scarcity mindset. We've only, and in fact, I don't think we've ever done paid ads for any of our companies. We've always just kind of helped clients out. We've helped influencers out. And then they learn how our system works. It gets them business. Then they simply talk about us. And so it's kind of nice, just, under promising, over delivering, and then letting your company grow organically. I mean, again, it's that also makes for a very recession-proof business as well. If you're not dependent on buying leads and buying business, that is like the main contributing factor to surviving. Which does kind of bring me to, because I promised some people before, is that we have a Black Friday deal that I was only going to be allowing people who joined the webinar to take advantage of. I mean, obviously our website's available. Check out some of our pricing on SaleStream.io, but we do have an amazing Black Friday deal. And if you stay for a little bit longer, I'll show you what it is. So, James, I want to talk a little bit more about LinkedIn, because the way I found you was you were on a webinar talking about how you leverage LinkedIn and like kind of personalizing things. And it's really been a huge value to you and your business. I mean, a lot of folks are apprehensive to using LinkedIn for lead generation. They keep saying, it's just another spam machine. All the requests I get are from people trying to sell me something. What do you say to people like that?
So what I would say is that from my experience, so I first started helping myself, first of all, generate leads and clients in LinkedIn in early 2018. And I started helping clients immediately do the same thing. So I offered to do for my clients what I did for myself, and I've been doing that since then. And what I want to say about LinkedIn is that it's a great place to go and make new connections and new contacts in a business / professional environment. I'm not a big fan, I'll be honest, of morning breakfast networking groups and networking meetings. 6 a.m. breakfast, not really for me, to be honest. While they're great, but I like meeting people through networks, and LinkedIn is the biggest business network there is. So if you can approach people in a way that is, as you touched upon earlier, you're leading with value, you're leading with authenticity and relevance. If you do those things, you're only going to get people kind of open up to you and appreciate you and be happy to reach out to you and connect with you. So I found it pretty easy to connect with people because I reach out to them from a place of not trying to sell you anything, but just trying to build a connection, just trying to connect and see if I can offer some advice or some help, and just connect on a human level. And if you just approach it that way, you're not going to have any problems. You're only going to see good things from networking on LinkedIn, in my experience.
Yep, mine as well. And it's it's funny because real estate is a very like reputation based industry, right? People are very protective of their reputation, and they're typically can be afraid of putting themselves out there, whether it's through video or through whatever it might be, or even through LinkedIn, that might impact their reputation poorly. And that's been a big kind of pushback from some prospects trying to join our systems, because they don't want to impact their reputation. And like kind of like you said, if you come from value and if you come from authenticity and like give them more than what they're expecting, it's not bad. And I mean people are nice. Like they see your face, they see like all your different connections that you have on LinkedIn. They see all of your experience. You're not some random person from Pakistan or the Philippines or whatever it might be. Like you're local to the same city, and you're trying to help them out. And that goes a long way to help build the rapport. And LinkedIn is, like, in my opinion, the only platform that does that so effectively.
Yeah, it's super. It's just a tremendous opportunity if you use it the right way. But the reality is, if you're afraid of your reputation, gosh, I mean, the reality is people, you have a reputation whether you like it or not. People will go to Google and type for your name into Google, and then what's Google going to show? So the reality is that you need to put things out there that you control and you're happy with. Otherwise, you're not in control about what people are finding. So this is personal branding. This is reputation management for us as individual professionals and business owners. So you do need to be out there. You do need to have a LinkedIn account. People will expect to see a LinkedIn account. And also that LinkedIn account should look professional. It shouldn't be a cutout picture of you at a wedding with a bunch of other people in the background. Like I see so many of those, or I see, guys with hoodies or something on there. It's like, dude, honestly, I mean, be professional. I know everybody's beautiful in real estate. That's as well. I see pictures of beautiful people and beautiful buildings everywhere. It's like, so it's a very aesthetic industry to be in. So make the most of that. Like, just put your best foot forward, put your Sunday best on. But you don't need to be somebody you're not, because imagine that you were at a barbecue with someone. What would you say to them at that barbecue? You're not going to just go up to some random person at a barbecue and start trying to sell them your services. If you're a business owner, if you're a realtor, so just kind of take the same approach. Just be human, just be personal. Don't be afraid to share your interests, like outside of business on LinkedIn. In fact, that stuff really resonates more and more on the LinkedIn platform cases. I'm sure you're seeing it too in content. People are sharing more of their personal lives, but personal in business is all one. It's all intermingled these days. Like gone are the days where our business and work lives were completely separate from our personal lives, especially those of us who are entrepreneurs, small business owners, independent business owners. Like, we are our business. So it's part and parcel of the same thing. You've got to be out there putting your best foot forward in the world. And it's so easy and cost effective to do. And I mean, what you've done with MyLinkedSolution is crazy. It's a crazy amount of value for people in the realtor space specifically. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to take this moment. Thank you, James. I appreciate the compliment. And it goes both ways. And I want to take the moment to kind of give you a little shout out too, because you do something that we don't do. So we do LinkedIn lead generation for real estate professionals, so real estate agents, mortgage loan officers. What we don't do, which a lot of our clients request, is like kind of consultations, like LinkedIn, kind of like figuring out how to best leverage their LinkedIn profile. And you have a consultancy, correct?
Well, I have two things. First of all, I have a completely free 60-minute masterclass called LinkedIn Profile Optimization. There you see in the featured, the third one on the right. Mm-hmm. So yeah, not that one. No. If you go back to the featured, it was the third thumbnail on the right.
Oh, that one.
This is LinkedIn Profile Optimization Masterclass. So you can go to YouTube and type in LinkedIn Profile Optimization, and you will find that thumbnail somewhere on the first page. So it's a 60-minute masterclass. It was a Zoom call, a little bit like this. I had several dozen people on there, and I did a live training that I was going to charge for, and ended up just giving it away for free because, again, leading with value. And guess what? It's generated far more for me by giving it away for free than if I tried to charge for it. There's a real lesson there. But yeah, that's a great place to start. It's entirely free. There's a ton of super valuable information, great feedback about that LinkedIn profile optimization masterclass. So that's the free resource I recommend you check out. But I do consultations on an hourly basis as well, if people want one-on-one personal advice specific to their situations. I've done more than 100 paid private consultations just in the last year or so alone, and I never get less than 8, 9, or 10 out of 10 feedback. I've got a lot of popular feedback on that because I've got a lot of experience coaching people, and so it's something I do really just as a side thing to help people. It's not the main thing, but I would recommend, if you're interested in optimizing your LinkedIn profile, check out the masterclass for free. That's the best resource for you to start with.
Cool. And yeah, so I think I read through one of your PowerPoint presentations on the profile optimization, and I definitely learned a lot. And then I also took you up on your consulting option, which is how we actually met. I saw you on a webinar with someone, and I'm like, oh, this guy knows what he's talking about with LinkedIn and automation. He might be able to help me out, and you certainly have. And so I wanted to also, so thank you, but I also wanted to be true to my word and provide the Black Friday deal that I promised so many people. So here it is. This is our kind of soft launch Black Friday deal of a lifetime. And check it out. Okay, so we talked a lot about some of the different systems that we can provide through SaleStream, the different automation tools, as well as the pre-built, preloaded funnels. So that comes just along with SaleStream, which is our company, and you get 3 months of unlimited access to that CRM / all-in-one tool. Then on top of that, you'll be getting an email plus SMS scripts that are preloaded for you as well. Facebook ad templates and lead templates. We have a 6-figure agent masterclass, which is a $4,000 value included in this bundle. There is a mobile app that you'll be able to have access to, social lead secrets, and then also we're going to do a first 20 bonus where we give you your first 20 leads for free. So, and then we also have an online priority support onboarding as well. So the first 2 calls that you'll be having with our tech team, as well as our onboarding team, will be helping you set up your account. So there's over $12,000 worth of value in that particular offering, and the Black Friday deal today is only $997. And so the way to access that deal is you would go to salestream.io/checkout page, or I'll just send it in this chat down here now, and we will. Yeah, and I also wanted to open up the webinar for some questions as well. How are you doing on time, James?
I'm good, Casey.
Cool. So I know there have been a lot of people on this webinar. I'm wondering, are there any specific questions about SaleStream, about LinkedIn, about anything that we were just discussing today? Now's your time to jump in and let them be heard, let them be answered.
I was curious, actually, were there any questions in your Facebook group as well from leading up to the webinar?
A lot of questions were coming from our past clients so our current clients that are from LinkedIn, because they were wondering if this was basically the same company, and they wanted to make sure, I think, that we're still doing our LinkedIn lead gen services. So yeah, we are still doing that as well. This is just an add-on service.
100%. Yeah, a ton of value there. So I'm guessing some of your clients are using the tool that you were using before. Is that correct?
Yeah. So our current clients So our current clients just simply use our MyLinkedSolution services, and we generate leads for them on LinkedIn. So there's no CRM integrations or
Oh, really?
automation.
They're not using a CRM, most of them currently.
No.
Right.
And,
So that,
and so we do provide like the, if they're familiar with Zapier, we can give them the webhooks, but not many of them actually request those. And so now it's like, hey, you don't have to even deal with that. Now we can kind of provide you with the CRM, the automation, the webhooks, all that stuff, and we're going to do like help you set it up for you. So it's kind of like an all-in-one package now.
yeah, I gotta say the killer application that you will find for using SaleStream is text messaging. Now, you might be used to using text messaging from your personal mobile phone, but if you are the business only, and you only ever you have anything to do with the business, then that maybe is okay. But if there's ever a situation where there's more than one of you in a business, or you're part of a team, or you have an assistant, or you just, somebody needs to do something and see what's going on in the business, and it's not always you need to have a system where text messages can be sent, and more than one person can actually see the history of that interaction, those communications via text messaging. Because everybody loves text messaging. Most text messages get answered within seconds, and they 99% open rate, unlike emails, right? So text messaging is the killer application to engage people. But the problem is that most people using text messaging for business, it's trapped on their phone. Everything is trapped on their mobile device, and that's it. If the phone goes down, that's it. No one else has visibility of it. So with a proper CRM like SaleStream, you can send text messages from your desktop to computer. You can just type into text messages, and you can chat as if you were typing from the phone. I hate typing on the phone, so I love typing text messages on the computer keyboard. It's much faster. But equally, anybody else can log in your team, an assistant, and actually see the entire history of the interaction between you and that person. If you're following up on leads and they are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months ago, you even yourself, you want to see the full history, and you want to have that in one place, alongside emails, alongside phone calls, all in one place. It makes it so much easier to track. What did we talk about with that person? What was their specific situation? And you can bring back all the personalization elements when you re-engage them. So yeah, I think many of you will find it a game changer to be able to use a professional piece of software like SaleStream for sending text messages out to your leads and clients and anyone else you need to in business. There you go. That's my takeaway for you.
Nice. Thanks, James. Yeah, it is. I mean, so two-way texting, and just like I said before, like how everything's all integrated together, whether they message you on Facebook, whether they send you a text message, an email, leave you like a review, whatever it might be, like it's all in one location for you to then manage and reply accordingly. Yeah, it's profound. I like it. We did get, and one more question from Wade Lester. Hey, Wade, how's it going? Yeah, we got to meet up soon too, or talk soon. But what is LinkedIn and does it integrate or is totally separate? So, Wade's not one of our MyLinkedSolution clients. He hasn't heard of our services. MyLinkedSolution is basically a separate kind of LinkedIn lead gen service that we kind of developed 3 or 4 years ago, as a need for us to generate business for our own real estate practice using LinkedIn kind of tools. And so we then created kind of a service around that, and we bundle it with kind of like scripts and obviously all of our experience in real estate, and then we sell it to other realtors around the nation and actually internationally as well. But it doesn't integrate. There's not a two-way integration between SaleStream and MyLinkedSolution, but we've set up here all of the appropriate zaps that we can then very easily set up for all of our clients as well. And the main triggers are LinkedIn connection made to SaleStream, and then LinkedIn inbound message we'd send over to SaleStream, and then LinkedIn outbound message to SaleStream. And this one's really interesting too, because you wouldn't really think you would want to create a a funnel or some sort of automation from an outbound message, but it is an amazing trigger that you can use to find a targeted audience and get them going on a specific flow. So if you have a trigger for a LinkedIn outbound message that you send, you can create a first messenger campaign, send out a direct message to a specific group of people that you found on LinkedIn using Sales Navigator, and put them automatically into a drip or some funnel that you created for that person, right? So, I mean, you could find UCSB alumni or UC Santa Barbara alumni, and you can then put them into a LinkedIn outbound messaging campaign trigger to then not only send them a message on LinkedIn, but then to also trigger them into an email and a text that invites them to join this UCSB alumni group that you created on Facebook, right? So you can kind of get them going into a different channel. This is a really powerful one.
Yeah, super cool. I do something similar. Yeah, 100%. You want to get all your LinkedIn connections and interactions into the CRM, because LinkedIn is not really a CRM, right? It isn't. It's a networking platform, but it's not a CRM. So the CRM brings organization to all of your messaging and your messaging history from your LinkedIn contacts, and inevitably you're going to not just communicate with them via LinkedIn. You're going to use email. You're going to use text messaging. You're going to use phone calls. So you need one place that tracks all of that interaction across those different channels. That's the game changer.
Yep, exactly. And he wants to post. So yeah, I'll post a link to that, to MyLinkedSolution here in the same chat as below. Where is it? Yeah, you just kind of got to be everywhere these days. Kind of reminds me of an episode of The Office where the tech kind of guy creates a service that basically it's called like Yap or something, where you do one post and then it goes across all the different platforms, and then it creates like a dog barking like as a way to notify that person that they've got a yap or something. It was really kind of funny. So yeah, I mean, but it's true. I mean, like that was actually kind of ahead of its time. There are tools that do that now, but you got to put them out there. You got to be out there. All right, well, let's wrap this up, James, because I know you're busy and people are starting to drop off. So yeah, if anyone's interested, salesstream.io/checkout. That's our Black Friday deal. It's in the chat. If you're interested in MyLinkedSolution services, it's just simply MyLinkedSolution.com. If you are interested in talking to James, he has that masterclass available. Do you want to post that somewhere, James, or?
So it's simple. If you go to YouTube and type in, let me see. Can I type in the message here? I'm not sure I can answer. How can I answer that? Don't think I can. Yeah, if you go to YouTube and type in LinkedIn profile optimization or LinkedIn profile tips, you'll find me. You'll find my video. Otherwise, you can get me on I'm on Twitter actually. So I'm on Twitter as LinkedIn_King. LinkedIn_King. Started out as a bit of a joke, but it stuck. So that's but again, if you type in James Watson and LinkedIn, you're going to find me on LinkedIn itself. And that's, again, I recommend you reach out to me and connect with me there.
Cool. Excellent. Yeah, well, I'm glad I found you. I really appreciate you jumping on this webinar and helping us kind of just subtly talk about the value of digital automation tools, SaleStream, LinkedIn. There's like so much to do, but it's like, hey, there are people like you and I out there that can help people out. So, and it's you want to find someone that has the same like abundance mentality, this abundance thinker. And so even if you don't use our services, find someone that has that same mentality, and then I guarantee you're going to do well. So thank you, James. I really appreciate your time.
You're very welcome. Thanks for inviting me.
All right. Bye, everyone. Have a good day.
Take care. Cheers.